you want to once again make sure that it gets right in there. And it covers up all of the foam, because if that shows, it will kind of ruin the effect. Although it'll be covered up in layers of other colors of paint and possibly with flock, depending on what kind of terrain you're going to be going for. Although, in just my opinion, I think it would work nicest on a grassy type hill. Now, even while this is still wet, I'm going to take the lighter color, which is a burnt sienna, and put that on the palette, right over top where my other brown was. I'm going to add a decent bit. Now this I'm not going to add water to, because I'm just going to be adding it to the top. And you want to get some of it on your brush, but you want not of an overbearing amount. This is going to be one of the first highlights that's going to be inside. You want to get kind of just touch it, so that way it's just kind of mixing in with the other color, but not overbearing it or changing it drastically. It's kind of got it as to coincide with it. Just highlighting it, making it sound more special than it is. So you just bring that across like your sand. You can see how it's highlighting the other brown that's there, making it not a completely even color. And once again, while still the paint is wet, I'm going to mix this yellow ochre into the leftover brown that I have. This is going to brighten the brown. And kind of turn it into a kind of an orangey color. Now this isn't going to be used as heavily as the other color, it's going to be just a pure highlight. So for this, you're going to want to once again use a dry brushing technique, which is where you want to put your paint into the brush into the paint. Then you're going to want to brush it off a little bit, and probably onto your paper a little bit. You're going to take another piece, just add this color. If the dry brushing doesn't work, just add a little bit more paint and just so you're not wanting it to be a little bit too much, you're just wanting it to hit a couple of the rocks on some of the sides. It's just a highlight. So now, taking the dark brown again, I'm going to add a little bit of that into what you have. Mix that in with a little bit of water. Water is really important when you're mixing colors. Now with that darker color, you're going to be trying to edge the sides of the scorching. Just choose one of the edges, don't take both of the edges. And even if you don't include certain spots, that works too, because the brown shouldn't be everywhere, it's just scorching. Now if you take a little bit of that paint that you just took, just made, and you add that to some of the areas of the rocks. Doing this all while quickly and while the paint is wet is important. So you take your flock of whatever kind you have. I've chosen green flock to go with the rest of the table that I'm going to be making. So you take your piece here while the paint is still wet. That's going to be used to hold in the flock. And with the flock, you're going to want to be fairly generous, because a lot goes a good way. And only add the flock to the areas where you want to have grass. If you get areas where you don't want it to be, you can just wipe it off later. It's not going to stay on too hardcore. So you just sprinkle it on. If rocks show through, that's a good thing. Then you're going to want to tap off the excess. Generally onto a piece of paper or card or something, so that way you can collect the unused flock for later. But for now we have the Tzeentch Hill and Necron glowy bumps, whatever you want to call them. Make up names and post them below. Tell me what you think. If there's better ways of doing these, tell me what you think of the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like below. And thanks for watching. Merry Christmas.